Howdy everybody, this is Bryce Stubbers. Today, we're focusing on shoulders. Front of the shoulders, anterior deltoid. It's a spot where a whole lot of yogis get way too tight, way too strong, way too fast. Why? Because your hands are moving forward all day. You don't make coffee by reaching back here. You make coffee by reaching forward. Same thing with doing your chaturanga, same thing with doing your handstands, same thing with driving a car, typing away on your computer, washing the dishes, all day long, all these humans reaching forward. And that, my friends, sets us up to get too strong too fast in the very front of that shoulder. So here is just what to do about it. All right, you ready? Here we go. All right, dear yogi, first thing you're gonna need is a lacrosse ball. Now, the front of the shoulder, anterior deltoid, pec minor, usually people get way too tight. They get some pain right in here when they lift their arm forward or out to the side, but it's mostly anytime going up or forward or out is when you're gonna feel this pain in here. If you're that person, this video is just for you. So it's gonna be a combination of two things. First, releasing any pain, any type of pain management in the physical tissues of the body. Got two ingredients. First, relax what is too strong, right here, anterior deltoid. Part two, strengthen what is weak. That's gonna be posterior deltoid. Very back of the arm. The deltoid is a huge triangle-shaped muscle, anterior, medial, posterior. When the anterior deltoid is too strong, and the posterior deltoid is weak because we don't reach for coffee, we don't reach back all day long in a more balanced relationship or amount of the times that we reach forward, the back gets weak and the front gets strong, and the front starts pulling the bones forward out of alignment, and that's when we start getting pain. So, relax the front, strengthen the back. Massage the front, strengthen the back. Fastest way to massage front of the shoulder without destroying your hands or paying somebody else a bunch of money. Get yourself a lacrosse ball, lay on your stomach, take your arm way out to the side. Take that ball right under the front of that upper arm and start rocking side to side. And even wave your arm up and down. Or a combination, both directions. When you feel the buried treasure, lean in, breathe deep until the pressure starts to soften and release the intensity. If it's not so intense that it takes your breath away, where it's very sharp, intense, then instead just keep moving, because that movement, that friction is going to create heat, and that heat is going to soften that fascia. It's going to get a bunch of blood flow in there, start to soften everything, and find an amount of pressure where it's not painful, but it's just uncomfortable. You stay on that side of the line and things will heal, and it will feel immediately better once you release pressure. Do this for at least a few minutes, but take it to the point where the muscle warms up, softens, the intensity of the pain that you had before you started starts to soften and subside. This could be anywhere from 30 seconds to several minutes. Choose your own adventure. You can do this every day. So sometimes you have to do too much to find out what that's like. And then you have to not do enough to find out what that's like. And then you can find the exact right amount for the moment. Symptoms of doing too much massage: the muscle will feel bruised the next day or tender to the touch. Even if it's not visibly bruised, it might feel sore. That's a sign you did a little bit too much. A little bit of soreness is to be expected when you haven't been doing any massage at all. So, main thing to do to boost recovery: protein. 20 grams protein within 30 minutes to an hour of finishing this practice. To focus on strength, part 2. We'll begin with a simple exercise that doesn't require any props, anything to purchase where you can just do it alone, on your own. All you need is a flat surface. Lay on. Now, to activate that posterior deltoid, take your arm out to level, take your elbow out level with the shoulder. Make a fist up towards the ceiling, towards the sky in this case. That's about 90 degrees. Try and take your arm back to about 85 degrees. And you're going to do reps pushing straight down into the floor with the elbow. As I push down into the elbow, I'll feel the shoulder move, and I'll feel the muscles at the back of that shoulder activate. And I can play with slightly different angles. And if I'm having trouble sensing with my perception, with my proprioception, that the muscle is firing, I can take my opposite hand, take it across the body, and I place the fingertips at the very back of the upper arm, where the upper arm meets the shoulder blade. So right about here, where I press the fingertips, where I can feel that tissue activate. So lay down, fist up to the ceiling, arm back about 85 degrees, opposite hand presses on the tissue, and when I press straight down into the elbow, I'll feel these muscles tighten up and bulge underneath my fingertips. And that's a way to train the mind, the brain, and the nervous system to sense, to enhance the proprioception, to strengthen my ability to feel this area of weakness. And as it gets stronger, as the muscle gets stronger, the nerve gets stronger, my brain gets stronger, I'll be able to feel and sense this engagement when I'm doing other movements. But this is a very simple way to reduce any risk of compensation and using other muscles, and to really directly fire that posterior deltoid. You start off with doing as many reps as you can before it starts to fatigue. At the first sign of fatigue, you stop. Whether that's 5 reps, 30 reps, 100 reps, take it to the point of the first sign of fatigue and stop. This is to really boost your therapy, your healing, your recovery, and then for best results, you would then do that exercise 3, 4, 5 times a day, taking it to the point at the very first sign of fatigue. Because in that way, we're waking up the muscle, we're waking up the nerve path, but we're not exhausting it. If you exhaust it, which is what the big, strong bodybuilders do, to bulk up muscle, that will get you very strong, very fast. However, what is required for that method to work is that you completely rest and relax all day long and do nothing but eat chicken breasts. Protein, sleep and rest and recover. That, my friends, if you have a lifestyle where you can do that, that is ideal. But for most people, they have to go and work and take care of their families. They have to go and work and take care of their families and their lives and their responsibilities. If you're one of those people who cannot completely rest, I have found that the method of taking the muscle to the point of fatigue, stopping and moving on with your day, but doing that several times a day, actually speeds up the recovery in a functional way in which you wake up the muscle, you wake up the nerve, and it stays awake. It awakens continually. Whereas if you fatigue the muscle and you fatigue the nerve, what happens is that if you're not resting all day after that, that muscle is asleep. And what ends up happening is you end up feeding the compensation pattern, because the area of weakness is now exhausted, it's back asleep, and all these other muscles that are already way too strong wake up even more so to protect the joint and allow that old atrophy muscle to stay atrophied and asleep. So that is the method that I'm offering you. If you're one of these householders with a lot of responsibilities and cannot afford to rest, take the strengthening movement to the point in which the muscle just first awakens. Stop, move about your day, go back, do that several times a day, and it will gradually awaken. You will still be functional, you will still be able to live your life with minimal pain and eventually no pain. That's the first exercise. as you gradually change angles, you might find a sweet spot where you get the best, the most potent activation with the least amount of pain. But that might be different for each person. What that would look like is like this. It's going to be invisible, but the most advanced yoga is completely invisible. Along with changing the angles with a bent arm, you can also straighten the arm out to the side, pressing down the back of the hand and changing the angles here. Explore. Make this practice your own. Find the sweet spot, build up your strength there. Find whatever range of movement you can with zero pain and build your strength there. If you cannot find a range with zero pain, find a range of movement with the least amount of pain and build your strength there. And gradually, in my experience, the pain will subside, it will disappear, and gradually the range of movement will also gradually increase. Now, if you say, I want something stronger, I got plenty of props, I got all the money in the world, just give me the techniques, man. Then, get yourself these fancy straps. These are elastic therapy bands, and they make them in all kinds of different colors, but all kinds of different strengths of resistance. Start off with something light, gentle, maybe even the lightest and the most gentle. Okay? From here, you can do these with the ones with the loop like I have them, and you can do them that are straight. Many different ways. Every tool has its place. For the ones with the loop, to strengthen the posterior deltoid, take the loop around your foot, around a doorknob, or around some sort of fixture. Take the other half of the loop in your hand, and you pull directly backwards with the elbow, and then relax. And you can change the rotation of your hand, depending on what feels the best, but I would recommend palm up, because that's going to keep the front of the shoulder open. If you do palm down, there's a natural tendency to internally rotate the whole forearm and upper arm, which is going to compress the front of the shoulder all over again. So I'd recommend palm up. And again, you just find a range of movement without any pain, you build up your reps. I recommend low intensity, high reps. As if that's too easy for you, you just gradually make it a little bit stronger. The whole key is finding an amount of resistance that's painless, where you can still actually do it without compensating. That is a beautiful place to start. From there, in your yoga practice, some very simple ways to modify postures, with the very front of the shoulder being excessively too tight and too strong. Whenever you're doing sun salutations, instead of raising the arms forward, raise the arms out to the side with the palms up. Whenever doing something like Warrior Two, instead of having the palms down, turn the palms up. And the same thing if you're going down into a triangle pose, is just start playing around with a rotation of the palm up as much as possible, and play around with this rotation of pulling the humerus back. The other direction to play with is pulling the hands apart. This is going to activate infraspinatus, triangle-shaped muscle that covers your shoulder blade. It's the flesh that immediately covers the blade of your shoulder. And its whole movement is external rotation of the upper arm. You can do the same movement with the same straps, with resistance bands, but this type of rotation can also really help open the front of the shoulder, and it can help you find this rotation movement in other asanas. I hope this is helpful for you. Please practice, enjoy, reach out if you have any questions. I offer private classes on a daily basis. I've got online classes every Tuesday and Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Workshops, retreats, right here in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as all over the world, including Europe. I'll be there in Crete, May 23rd through the 30th, 2026. Please reach out. Happy to be of support. And I wish you the absolute best. So, Hari Om.